Okay, my next hat, I hope you can see it, is Germany. And in my previous clip, I was talking about East Germany and East Berlin. I'm sure many of you have heard that George Bush, the first president of the United States, not George Washington the first, but the first Bush of the two Bushes, his father, Prescott Bush, traded with Nazi Germany and made a lot of money from trade with Nazi Germany, apparently in banking. So it's very strange that, the family of the Bushes is tarred and feathered because their wealth came from, well, I don't know exactly what they were doing. I guess they were doing banking and business with German companies, which were all about pharmaceuticals and armaments, primarily construction. I don't know exactly the details of it, but Prescott Bush, it's pretty available if you look it on the internet to find that indeed he was a senator at the time. So, I mean, the corruption of the American government seems to go way back. What else can I tell you? Someone wants me to talk about David Icke, the British commentator. No doubt if you listen to Mr. Icke, you will find a lot of his stuff really off the wall. Because his stuff is really off the wall. The first time I read it, many years ago in a metaphysical bookstore in Vancouver, Canada, well, it's very difficult to figure out Mr. Icke's story. Is there any truth to it? I'm going to tell you yes. How much truth is in David Icke's story? Can't say. But there is truth to a lot of what he says. People tend to get hung up on some of the things he said that, the British royal family are reptilian shapeshifters. But I did listen to a lecture of his that I saw on my feed yesterday that was talking about World War II, and it was spot on. It talked about how the British royal family actually are descendants of the German royal family, and Gotha was their name. Might have some apostrophes and some other connected names, but the name was changed, and they renamed themselves after Windsor Castle, which was a nice English-sounding name. But they are not Windsors. They are Gotha, which is a German, apparently, name. I'm not sure if it's Hessian or Bavarian or Hanoverian or whatever, but that's where it originates. And apparently they had to change their name because they were getting very bad press, because I believe it was in World War I, London was being bombed by German bombers that were manufactured by Gotha, which was the same name as the king. And, Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany was, I believe, a cousin of who would have been there? Which king was it? King George, perhaps. Anyway, they were cousins, and perhaps they were. I can't remember what the relationship was with. Anyway, they're all related. That's why they call them blue bloods. And as David Icke said, blue buds are, he didn't say that, somebody else said it. I do have interference. So the reason that I often get my facts wrong is because I am plagued by demons. And I know I've made other lectures about archons and demons, but they do exist. And if you are a speaker of truth, it's very difficult because the demons do everything they can to twist your words and make you fumble your words and even give you the wrong words. These things, the spiritual teacher Stuart Wilde called ghoul feeds. So that's why it's very difficult to get truth, because even people who are working hard to tell you the truth have got non-physical demonics or transdimensionals, which are beings that live in another dimension, whose sole purpose is to trip you up. It's true. Stuart Wilde experienced it and he wrote about it. Dr. David R. Hawkins talked about Luciferian temptation and beings who lived in the lower astral, whose sole job is to screw with humans. And I have these kind of beings that work against me. They want to say that their demonic tendencies are due to highly charged negative fields that they experience from time to time. Possession by what Paul Levy calls in his book Wetico, which is a native North American term for evil spirits, perhaps cannibals. Wendigo is another word. But anyways, Don Miguel Ruiz, another spiritual teacher, called, well, it might be similar, but in a similar vein, he called it mitote in whatever language that was. Perhaps it was Spanish or some kind of native North American, Middle American. But the idea is that we have plenty of negativities to deal with, and it's like crabs in a bucket, you know, the old crab in a bucket song. I'm not sure if it was Chaos that did the song, but when you're trying to pull yourself out of the mire of a highly charged hell world called planet Earth,